Welcome back to another episode of Rooftop Psychology, where we take your unconscious mind out of cruise control and put your conscious mind into overdrive. Let's look today at evil as a potential. Now, does evil just exist all around us, or does it have to be activated as a potential? Well, the answer is both. Evil is happening all around us all the time at any given moment. But is it just simply organically happening, or are human beings activating the evil around us, therefore evil exists all around us? It's both. But I think what's more important is that we could actually, in a simultaneous moment, stop evil from happening. Now, I'm using the word evil because this is, our most extreme, our good versus evil. Anybody who falls in the spiritual or religion aspect, you're going to see heaven and hell, right? That verbiage used for what is very bad, right? So there's a scale, obviously. We can all agree that, some little poke and prodding jokes that may not be good aren't necessarily probably evil. They're just maybe bad or in poor form or poor taste. Now, I say evil, it is in my existence as though it is premeditated. So evil would be harming someone else for whatever reason, doesn't matter what the end result or reflection back on whatever that person's looking for to get out of it, but it's simply looking to harm other people. So you look at abusing somebody, could be your spouse, could be kids. We look at evil as in what we'd see as school shootings, certain particular war regimes that have happened. So you have the Nazi regime. We would all use the word evil. We wouldn't just probably say, well, that was pretty bad. No, we would use the word contextually evil because it's like, how much worse could it possibly get, right? It's premeditated harm on other people. So let's go ahead and walk down the path, and you can basically differentiate between what's bad from what I'm saying and what you perceive as evil. I'm going to let you find that spectrum on there, but basically just understand that evil is like absolutely the worst. How much worse can it possibly get? And, well, is it good? And somewhere on that spectrum, we're going to find these scenarios. So I want you to think about sitting there at a dinner table. You're out at a restaurant with your friends. Everything is going good, quotes. And nobody's hurting each other. There's good conversation happening. There's nothing petty happening. There's no jealous or envy. Just good social conversation happening around a table. Now, why isn't there evil happening? Where is the evil that everybody talks about? Well, it's happening all around you. Even if that particular moment, nothing evil is happening at your table, doesn't mean that evil is not happening around you or is potentially going to happen to you, nor does it mean that you can't potentially rise up evil out of yourself. And I think that's sort of a fallacy that people carry, is that the fact that they can't be evil, that they were raised too well, or they know too right, or they're morally virtuous, and so I could never hurt or harm somebody like that. And I think that's a scary line to basically put into our own head, that we could never be like somebody else. And of course, on the face value, we're always going to say that. I don't think there's any way possible that I'm going to turn into a serial killer. But is there potential for it? Sure. I guess I haven't suffered the amount of pain and suffering, the social economic circumstances, how I was raised. I've never been tortured. So who's to say if I didn't go through those strenuous, painful, life-altering, psychology-altering experiences, I wouldn't do the same thing. So I just don't go ahead and go down that road. What I do know is, I know that everybody has, in my opinion, the potential to be bad or to be evil, just like I have the potential to be bad or evil. And I take it on faith and face value that I'm going to do my best not to hurt you, and you can try and do your best not to hurt me. And if for some way along the way we end up crossing paths where you get hurt by something I do, or I get hurt by something you do, hopefully we can come to agreement and we can carry on that wasn't intentional, that we didn't do that to each other. So back to the table again. We're at the table and everything is going great. There is no evil happening at your table. But let's say someone back in the kitchen's having a bad day and they decide to spit in your food. Well, we would all say that's definitely not good and it's bad. Is it evil? I don't know. Maybe if the person has some sort of disease that they know they're going to transmit to you if you eat it, I think we could cross the barrier on between something that's bad and then that would make it evil. Again, that's up for you to decide where you draw the line. But now all of a sudden evil's happening to you. But that individual had to activate that, right? They made a choice. There was a conscious decision on, I could go this path or I could go this path. And they chose the path that led down to evil. That's an important distinction to make, is that it just didn't happen. An individual at work in a restaurant didn't happen to lose saliva out of his mouth into your salad and then decide, well, it's already in there, just let it go out. No, this person activated evil within themselves. And to the contrary, they could be being tortured at home. They could be having a horrible home life. They could have just potentially lost a parent or a child. They could be going through some major pain and suffering that we are completely unaware of. That doesn't excuse their action, in my opinion, but it does give reason why evil did get activated. Same way, if someone goes to the bathroom at your table and someone else puts X-Lax in the person's drink and they come back and say, hey, my water looks a little different. You guys do something with my water. You have a choice to lie or not lie. Now, if they drink the water, they end up getting diarrhea from it. Is it evil? Probably not. It's not good. But again, that was manifested out of human decision and human choice making. There's a good analogy with a dad who tells his son that, look, son, every time you hurt somebody, it's like hammering a nail into this board. So no matter if you take that nail back out of the board, the nail hole remains. And so if the more you do this, and a week went by, there's a bunch of holes in the board, even though the nails weren't there anymore. It's the same potential of evil. So I want you to envision you come up to two doors. Door number 1 is evil. Door number 2 is not evil. We're not going to place a scenario on it. I just want to simply say evil, not evil. And you pick the evil door. Well, once you go through the door, you can't come back, right? There is no, I regret my decision. I'm sorry for what happened. You can't walk back through the door and change your decision again. You already made the decision. You already activated the potential of evil. What you can do next is go, door number 1 is evil, door number 2 is not evil, and go through the next set of doors that is door number 2 and start to change your behavior, change your outlook, and change your belief system, your values. But the damage that was done is like leaving a fingerprint in your mind and leaving an impression that could potentially last a lifetime with something that you chose to do to somebody else. And you can't go back and fix that, and no apology that you give is ever going to erase the memory that's locked in the psychology of your mind, right? So I want you to envision the doors. You can continue picking door number 2, door number 2, door number 2. And as you're picking door number 2, guess what you're gaining? Respect for yourself, respect for others. You're gaining trust from other people. It's very important to go up, and there used to be a important thing that we called a handshake. And now people just do it sort of out of, I would say, tradition more than anything. It seems to be in this world where we say, oh, if someone sneezes, you say, bless you. Most people don't know where that comes from. We just say it. You know, your parents told you, so if someone sneezes, you say, bless you. And you learn that behavior and habit before you can even possibly understand why it is what it is. The same thing goes with the handshake. You used to shake somebody's hand, you looked them in the eye, and you knew you were making a verbal contract that needed to be fulfilled from both parties. So let's say, hey, I'm going to buy that cow from you. I'm going to pay you $500. I didn't come back and try and give them $400. No, we made the agreement that I'm going to pay you $500. Likewise, the person didn't go out there and kill the cow and all of a sudden expect to get paid, right? We do this all the time, sort of with the lawn care act, right? You have kids, teenage kids, high school kids who go out, they cut a grass for $20. They say, hey, I'll cut your grass for $20. Imagine that teenager going and cutting the grass and coming up to you, expecting you to pay based on a verbal handshake agreement, and you say, no, thanks, but I'm not paying you. You just activated evil. The potential of evil just manifested itself on your decision and your choice. Now you left a fingerprint of psychology in that young person's mind that could potentially derail them in life. It's something that now they have to overcome, and they have to overcome trust factor. Now, are they going to be more willing to go to the next person's house and do a handshake agreement and say, yeah, I'll cut your grass for $20? Do you think they're going to ask for the $20 before they do it, or wait till after? They're probably going to insist that I want my $20 up front. Well, now to the next neighbor who has no idea what this person psychologically have been through, and they've been abused based on trust, they're going to say, no, I'm not giving you money before. I'll give you money after you get done. And all of a sudden, evil gets manifested again, because now you have hatred and you have a distrust between two people who should never have a distrust between them. So wouldn't it be a euphoric moment for the entire world as human beings and the race that we are to stop activating the potential of evil? What a wonderful world we would live in. Is that plausible? I don't think so. There's too many variables that go along with evil. We have socioeconomic, we have class, we have our significant cultures we're brought back up into, the countries that we live in. Some people still walk to get water, whereas in your Western industrialized countries, we're pretty spoiled in the fact that we don't really have to survive anymore in the fundamentals of food and shelter and water. So go ahead and give yourself a little bit of a break in the judgment factor of realizing, wow, why can't everybody just stop doing bad things? Well, maybe if you understood, as the saying goes, walk a mile in someone else's shoes, you could understand how they drew the conclusions and decisions to get there. Does it make it right? No. But at least you could show a little bit of compassion and a little bit of empathy that we all don't live the exact same life. And isn't that a glorious thing? Because what would life be worth living if we were all identical and the same? I'm going to leave you with that, with the potential of evil. A certain key opens evil doors, and you need the previous key to open that door, to open the next door, and evil manifests through progression. You start off doing white lies as a child, you may end up being a serial killer at the end. And it's our job as society to have compassion and empathy to guide these people with the resources to stop things before they get too bad. I'll leave you with that. Thanks for enjoying another episode of Rooftop Psychology. I will see you on the next one.